So, welcome everyone. I'm Alejandro Mihalcha, and today we have one of the industry leaders, Nadia Macer-Wright, CEO of Cornish Gems. Welcome, Nadia. How are you doing today?
I'm very well, thank you. Thank you for inviting me.
Awesome, and I'm excited to have you on the podcast today, and I'm sure you're going to be of great value for the audience. Now, before we dive in, could you give us a quick overview of what Cornish Gems does?
Yes, of course. So we are based in Cornwall, which is about 400 miles away from London at the southernmost tip of the United Kingdom. So we have a company. My company, we rent out accommodation and luxury venues all around Cornwall to the holidaymakers, but also to people who want to host their weddings at our venues. We also host retreats and corporate events.
Okay, that's fascinating. And basically, what inspired you to create the Cornish Gems? Was there a specific moment or experience that sparked this journey?
Yeah, so there was a specific moment. We launched the business in 2007. So we've been going nearly 20 years now, and we identified a niche in the market way back then where we wanted to provide an excellent service to for it's like an end-to-end service to the guests, but also to owners. So we saw that there was a gap in the market. So where we launched our business right down near to St Ives in Cornwall, we realised that the large agents that already existed at that time didn't cover the areas that we wanted to cover, and we thought that they were absolutely spectacular places to come on holiday. So we launched our business with three properties, all based
Yeah.
in the same area near St Ives, offering an end to end. So all the bookings, the marketing, the meet and greet, the experiences, the cleaning, the linen, the whole sort of one stop shop.
Yeah. Yeah, okay, interesting one. And you mentioned that you are growing a community, not just a business. So how do you foster that sense of community among your guests and your team?
So we have a really interesting community in Cornwall. We are a county in the UK, and we are a unique county because we're so far away from the cities that we don't have big business down here. So we have probably about 12 or 13 different industries that sort of all operate down here. And tourism, my industry, is the sort of lifeblood and the heart and soul of the county. So we really nurture those relationships between the guests, the owners of the properties, and my team. But also, we really provide work, we provide support for all sorts of different business owners as well. So the ripple effect of my business is quite far-reaching in terms of how we support people to have a really good quality of life in Cornwall, and to really develop those connections and those really good relationships so that everyone benefits.
Yeah, interesting one. And for example, how does Cornish Gems balance the use of technology with the personable aspect of your business?
So we've always prided ourselves on offering the personable touch because we feel that the local knowledge that we have about our county is you can't get that anywhere else. You can't buy that. It's the knowledge we have from growing up here, for being here for over
Yeah.
20 years, and that's really valuable to our guests, but also to our owners. So we are looking to advance our use of technology, but in a way that really enhances our personal touch rather than taking over the personal touch. I feel it's really important that we still have those personal connections. We still have the person to person or the human to human touch because we can't ever lose that. That's the most important thing, and that's what's real.
Okay, I see. And last time you described the Cornwall as the virtual island. So how does its unique geography and culture influence your business?
So it is unique. We have three coasts. We have north, south, and west, and we do, because we're right at the end of the country. We do find we do get it's sometimes forgotten about. So we are quite self sufficient down here, and the charm of the county is that it has. a unique blend of new and emerging innovation, but it also has its traditional historic um, roots. We were historically a mining community whereby it was mining the tin. And so when those industries fall away and they get replaced by other industries, we all work together really closely because we do tend to feel like we're on our own sometimes
Yeah.
because we're so far away from London.
Okay. And let's go back to when you first started. So, for example, what were the biggest challenges you faced in promoting Cornwall as a global destination?
So, as a global destination, it was using getting through to the right markets, but also just being able to use what was available at that point in time. So we did heavily rely on Google and SEO, which we do at the moment. But the emergence of all the social media platforms, etc., has really helped us to showcase Cornwall on a global scale. We have quite a few influencers and celebrities come down and share all their lovely pictures. And in a way, anyone that comes down and takes a photo and posts it is marketing our Cornwall
Yeah.
on our behalf. So when we first started, it was very minimal, very minimal. So it was mainly we were using we were marketing to a domestic market, and now we've got a far greater reach, although it needs to be more. I went traveling in Scandinavia a couple of weeks ago, and when I was interested to find out if anyone had heard of Cornwall, and very few had.
Hmm.
So they'd heard of London, they'd heard of the Lake District, possibly because it's that very much a
Yeah.
similar sort of terrain. But Cornwall never really was people weren't aware of it. So I'm very, very. My mission is to really raise the profile of Cornwall on a global scale because it is, for me, it's probably one of the most vibrant and wonderful places on earth.
Okay. Okay. See. And because you mentioned this, for example, how is Cornish Gems working to preserve and protect the beauty and resources of Cornwall?
So we have always been a responsible business. We have always been as sustainable as possible, and we that culminated in our B Corp accreditation in January of 24. That was one of my proudest moments because it shows to the world about how I want to do business, who I want to do business with, and what legacy I want to leave behind. So a B Corp business is a benefit business. So you're not just benefiting your shareholders, you're benefiting the community around you, you're benefiting the people and the planet. So that for me was vital because I have children. I want them to grow up in Cornwall, absolutely having a wonderful quality of life, but also opportunities to have really good careers and really well
Yeah.
paid careers, which we are working on, but it is quite a slow progress.
Yeah.
Hospitality and tourism, I've always been sort of looked at as maybe low paid, low skilled, which I'm trying to turn that around and show people and show the next generation coming through that you can actually have a really well paid job, a really really um, productive career in hospitality and tourism, so that you don't necessarily have to leave the county, and so we can retain the talent.
Okay, interesting. And now walk us through how Cornish Gems addresses these challenges. What makes your approach unique?
So we're building relationships and building communities rather than just working in silos. So we're trying to break down barriers. We're trying to work across different sectors and different industries because down here in Cornwall, it's a symbiotic relationship. We all work together for the success of all. And when one industry is sort of failing or struggling, we all feel it. And I feel we should really work together because together we are a lot stronger and we can achieve more,
Right.
and we can be a louder voice, a more powerful voice when it comes to challenging those in power to really recognise the needs and the unique sort of fabric of and the ecosystem of Cornwall down here, because it is different. One size does not fit all, and it is important that they understand that what can be absolutely brilliant for London is not going to work necessarily for Cornwall.
Yeah, 100%. And also, could you explain the book local movement and why it's important for communities like Cornwall?
Yeah, so the book local movement is to really try and help people understand the difference between booking using a big booking giant, so like Airbnb and Booking.com, or booking with a local business who has really got roots within the community and really understands the challenges and the opportunities and the threats that really do exist in the community. So it's educating people to understand where they invest their money, how they spend their money, and because those communities are very important for people who want to come away on holiday because they really make a difference to people's lives. We want to preserve that. And by understanding what the communities need, you can then provide the platform for the next generation coming through and the existing people who need the support and they need the
Mhm.
employment, they need the salaries to be of the real living wage level, which is really important to us. So we are a member of the Real Living Wage Foundation. So we want people in Cornwall to be proud of working in all industries, especially my industry, travel
Yeah,
and tourism. But we want to invite people to come to Cornwall to experience the amazing energy, the amazing beaches, the amazing countryside, the amazing people, and the passion. But we can't do that unless we all work together. So it's really important now that we do recognise that, and I think there is a growing movement to recognise that working together is the best way. So I think after COVID, we got swamped down here because it was a location where people could travel to, and we've
yeah.
learned a lot of lessons from that. And I think by understanding and learning and growing and actually educating people who come here, educating people who are here, educating the next generation coming through, I think will hopefully preserve the rich landscape of Cornwall.
Okay, okay, that's fascinating. And you mentioned about a B Corp certification, but I have a curiosity by this. So, what inspired you to become a B Corp certified business?
So the movement of the B Corps is very inspiring. It's a community which is very important to us because it's a global community. It's not just a community, a sort of a local community. It gives us access to lots of different perspectives, which is very important if Cornwall is going to be a globally recognised destination. It also allows us to tap into different industries because it gives us it allows us to sort of ask those questions across all different types of industries all over the world, which is
Yeah,
really important. But those values, I really resonate and share the values of B Corp, and that's what's really important to me because I want to do business with people who share my values because it's like it's breaking down a barrier. It's giving you an in where people understand you even before you have to explain it. So it's a way of saying this is me, this is how I do business, and then it's down to you then to build up those relationships. And it gives you a bit of a head start, and the community is I'm very proud to be part of it.
okay, I see. And I have another curiosity because I think this is very interesting. So, for example, when you talk to potential clients, what's the biggest misconception they typically have about what you do?
Okay, so the misconception is that we're just a self-catering holiday let company. So we need to explain that we have a very big heart and we want to help people on a journey. We want to give them an experience where they feel better when they leave. So it's using the power of Cornwall, using the power of what we have to help people in in their hour of need or in help them deal with any of the trauma that they've gone through because people there's a lot of people that need help out there, and I think by bringing them to a place where they can escape and they can be supported and they can have the best experience, hopefully that will then they will be feeling better when they leave, and they'll want to come back and protect and preserve it.
Okay. And also, could you share a specific success story of an experience of a client?
So one of my owners, I know them very well. We had one of our guests come down to stay. Now they were recovering from cancer, so they came down to stay, and they had the most wonderful time. But they didn't realize that they could bring their dog with them. Now their dog was very special to them, and so I found out about this, and I said to the owners, would you invite them to come back and stay, complimentary? So come for a long weekend, to bring their dog and to experience our hospitality again. And the owners were very, very kind and saying, of course, absolutely. They recognise that somebody going through that pain and that trauma needs all the help they can get. So we invited them back down. They had a wonderful weekend, and they are now lifelong supporters of us, and always will then tell their friends about how great their experience was both times,
Yeah.
and really try. And that for me is an important part of what I do. I want to really help people to get the respite they need and to be able to focus on what's important. And when you're going through trauma like that, it's family, it's wanting to spend quality time with your loved ones. So we are very much a company that will support people who need who need help. We
Yeah.
work very closely with the hospitals, with the NHS. We provide accommodation and experiences for people who are have gone through bereavement, or they're going through the cancer process. We also help with retreats for people who are experiencing those sorts of life changing experiences, to try and just help in any little way we can. So that's from my perspective as a business owner, and I know my team. It's our core values are compassion, care, and we like to be a little bit cool.
Okay, okay. Amazing story. And now, looking at the broader industry, what key trends are you seeing emerge?
So for Cornwall, there's not so many people coming to Cornwall at the moment. We need to tell better stories about how great Cornwall is. It's not just beaches and ice cream. There's so much more to it. There's so many more interesting businesses and people and places to go. It's we need to to remind or and tell people that it's not the most expensive place in the world. I mean, I've come back from Scandinavia, and that's one expensive place. So it gives you perspective when you go and you travel around the other places, and you realise that actually
Yeah.
the value you get from dealing with a business like mine, you are getting a really good value for money. So we need to work really closely with the local council and visit Cornwall, and we need to really create a destination management plan with them, so that we can provide a really clear message to the end user about how great Cornwall is, and try and convince them that summer's not always the best time to come here, because we still have a very seasonal economy and a seasonal industry. So the peaks are really, really high, and the troughs are really, really low. So I think we need to try and balance out the economy to benefit everybody, so that people will have business all year round, and that local people can also go out and have a great experience all year round. Because sometimes, in the winter, a lot of places are closed because they're just not getting any business.
Yeah.
So there's lots of challenges that we're facing. We're all trying to work together to tackle them in our own way. And I think it's important when people are looking at Cornwall or my business from the outside, is they really get to know it a little bit, try and dig a little deeper. And I know it's very easy to book with Airbnb and Booker.com, and those engines, they're not going away. But those discerning guests who really do care about the environment, they do care about people, and they do care about the places that they go to, could spend just a little bit of time just doing a little bit of research to see exactly what they're doing with their money.
Okay, interesting. And because you mentioned this, for example, how are you adapting to the changing landscape to the travel and tourism industry?
So it would be very easy for me to sell out, and I'm not going to. So we're looking to partner with some very select trade partners. So some travel agents, some global travel agents, but also a domestic travel agent as well. So those agents who organise holidays for people and experiences for people, we want to be on their radar. We want to be partners with them so that we can attract a really good caliber of guest and to come to Cornwall. But we can also start to think about the end-to-end experience. So we're not just providing accommodation, we're looking
Yeah,
at providing the whole experience. So it's looking at the travel, looking at the transfers, looking at the experiences while you're there. Where do you go? How do you experience the best of Cornwall whilst you're here? And then obviously, try and really promote that repeat bookers, and to give people an experience that they can get nowhere else.
yeah, makes sense. And as you wrap up, what's next for Cornish Gems and exciting developments on the horizon?
So I'm always looking for the next opportunity. I would like to be able to have successful partnerships with these trade partners. I think that would be really good for our owners, because my business is exclusive, so you won't find our properties on any of those big booking giants. And we're independent, so we haven't been bought out by the larger companies or private equity. So we are trying to stand our independent ground. It's a bit like David and Goliath. It's quite,
Yeah.
it's quite it's quite difficult. But I 100% believe that we can create a different model. We're also looking potentially at different locations,
Okay.
possibly global, possibly domestic. Always keeping my eyes out for opportunity, but it's very important that we get the foundations of our business
Yeah.
that's really solid, and we do have a really good and a really healthy income stream, to be able to then think about what the next
Mm.
exciting steps are.
Yeah, exactly. And for listeners who want to learn more or potentially work with Cornish Gems, what's the best way to get in touch?
So you can contact me. You can go on our website at cornishgems.com. You can also look for Cornish Gems Holidays on the social media platforms. But yes, it's absolutely fine if you want to contact me and talk to me about anything. I'm really always interested to find out about what people are interested in. So yes, happy to have those conversations.
Perfect. So thank you for sharing those insights about you, about the company, and about the whole story. And thank you for this amazing podcast session.
Thank you, Alex. I really appreciate it.
Yep. See you in the next episode.
Thank you.